Ding. 1, 5, 12, 27, 24, 31, 13. All right, guys, welcome back to Bass and Bonsai. If you haven't already watched the spinnerbait, the buzzbait, we are now moved on to chatterbaits. If you guys remember from the last video, my favorite, I know I should level this chair or table out. My favorite bait in the world. I should not get rid of any of these baits, but let's just jump right into it. I've actually got them sorted out. Here's the new ones we just got. They're basically the jackhammer knockoffs, AliExpress, $3.50 chatterbaits. We've got our Omega Custom Tackle Rapture jigs over here. I think we've got our jackhammers here. We've got one that used to be my favorite color, but Z-Man Originals, and a few colors, but mainly black and blue. And then we've got our little micro chatterbaits. These are kind of our, I think these are supposed to be, what's that? Look at, these are like everywhere. They're like the plague. That one's sticky, getting ready to fall apart. That guy's supposed to be over here. We've got our customs or elites. There's a few of those. And then these are our white chartreuse originals, the crazy big hooks. So I'm just going to do it like I do the others. And here's the ones with the last tech that I just have over here. I haven't taken the last tech off yet, so I got them by themselves so they don't get in here and possibly mess up other stuff in case I have other baits that have like regular soft plastic. So anyway, oh, I did a boo-boo over here. I've got an elastic here with the regular bait right here, the riot baits. Luckily, they're far enough to haven't touched, but it's a bad idea to do that. So, do we have a mess? Actually, they're organized, and I should just leave it alone and go fishing. But you still have to dig in there. You know what? No, we're not going to do it. Not going to do it. We're going to continue on, and I'm going to make myself sort through. Wow, those stayed in. We're going to sort through this mess. Okay, so we're just going to do it like we did the other stuff. I know I should have pulled them apart, but I didn't. Dump everything out. That way, only put back in what is worthy enough to go back in your box. Don't sit and pick through your box. Just get it all out and out of the way. So I'm going to kind of sort them out on these, and then go with the throwaway pile, which honestly are going to be some very good baits. You guys are going to watch what I'm getting ready to do here. I'm going to start mainly fishing with these AliExpress ones. I'm not saying I'm getting rid of all of my other chatterbaits that I've ever owned, as you'll see, but yeah. So here's one of the original, and I think this one is the Jackie Hammer. What's funny is the bait I just picked up, I think I'm already going to get rid of. That's the 18 gram one, and it comes with, and I just want to show you that. Before we go any further into this chatterbait organizing deal, if you guys remember right, my favorite chatterbait coming from AliExpress and the color so far is that dude, right? We did real well on that color. The next color would be wherever he went to. He's somewhere around here. Maybe this color, but I'm still trying to make myself like that color. And of course, you know I like black and blue. It's just a favorite all-time type deal. So I just got a red one to kind of try, but here's the thing. I guess I didn't pay attention. I don't know why I ordered 18 gram one. Maybe that's the only way I could get it in red. I don't know, but I wanted to show you guys. If you are ordering these baits off AliExpress, the 18 gram one is a bigger hook. Now, if you like the idea of that, and you're like, yeah, I want the regular, full size. I've got a big monster, heavy, whatever rod you use for chatterbaits. Like the Rapture jigs, the Z-Man Originals, or even the jackhammers for that matter, fairly big hooks. I myself don't like that. The eventual plan is I'm going to weed myself completely out of that big monster hook because I like these little guys because I can throw them on smaller rods, right? I can catch bigger bass on a smaller rod, right? That's the whole thing with Bass and Bonsai, kind of why we really love the BFS fishing. So, I just bought this, $3.50. It's probably going right out the window. Charles likes these baits. He liked this one. I'd almost guess some of these baits Charles will just keep for himself, and then others he's going to be selling. And that's a true jackhammer. And I found I have 4 jackhammers. I think I'm just going to keep them because they do have a little bit. I think the hook. Hang on, let me find a jackhammer that's the little 3/8. And the way you can tell, like if you're like, what if somebody's trying to sell me cheap ones? Right there will tell you on a jackhammer. Well, if I could get this one, this is one of the worst colors to do. It's at 3/8, you can barely see it. Jackhammers have that. These knockoffs, and it's honestly one of the only ways to tell if you don't know for sure the specific colors. The knockoffs do not have that. And if I had to call it, the knockoffs, if you guys look at these two, let it focus. See how that's a flatter surface too, and the knockoff, see that little bit of a line? The heads are slightly, but man, they're so close. I'm telling you, these baits, they were definitely, they took a jackhammer and they more or less copied it. Oh, here's another thing I forgot. I'll show you. Hang on. Let me find a jackhammer and I don't have to peel this off because I'm going to leave this one on. I've got, I think, 4 jackhammers to keep. I know this is just about organizing, but I wanted to talk about some specific stuff. Because at some point it'll probably come to that. Somebody's going to be trying to sell these things to you guys on a forum, you know, like new jackhammers, $10, $8, whatever, and they're going to be scamming you. So you got to watch for that. So here is an actual jackhammer that I see right there. And it's a printed on, well, oh my God. Let me pull that out of the way and get my thumb out of there. That would focus. See that? ½ ounce. So you can tell by that, and I haven't yet to find one of the knockoffs that has 2. So the jackhammers have dual little keepers, right? This knockoff just has 1. Hook size is honestly a little different too. The hooks on the knockoffs are a touch smaller. I think even on the 3/8 is what I was trying to show you. I think the 3/8, I think it doesn't matter 3/8 or ½ ounce. The jackhammers are the same size, and the knockoffs are a touch smaller on the hook, which actually for me I don't mind that. But you got to watch, some of these actually come a little bent down. I may even want to kink that up a hair. I think on most all of them, let me try. I don't know, it could just be the way I'm looking at it. But you guys have seen me fish these already. They're definitely, they're keepers. They work. Yeah, I like the smaller hooks on the, because I feel that's the only downside. The only downside to a Z-Man original, and let me find one. That is a tried and true color and bait. Z-Man original chatterbait. Comes with it's a true big jig hook. Like that is a, what's that, a 4 or 5/0? Like that's a big gap, which the gap I don't really mind. The problem if you get too big a gap and too light wire, you know, small of a wire, then it's just it'll let it kind of straighten. But that needs a very stout rod, in my opinion. I mean, I fish with 15-pound braid and a very heavy medium rod or a medium heavy rod for sure. And you pretty much yanking like you're yanking like a jig yank, right? So I feel, now see, this is definitely still a step down, but that one I just got that's a 18 gram, it's not far from that, but it is down. And the jackhammers, and let me find a custom. So if you get the Z-Man, I think the Elites and the Custom, there's one of my older original, not like original, but that bait right there is probably 5 to 8, no, probably like 8 years old. It is dull, nasty. I don't even know why I still keep it. Sentimental reasons? No, it's one of the first ones that's going to go out. You know me, I'm not a collector. Here is a different one. Still a pretty big hook. But honestly, yeah, what is that? I don't even know which one that is. But that actually still needs a pretty good stout rod. Let me find one of these. There's a jackhammer. Jackhammer has just a little bit different style of hook. Is it the same? So if you like the jackhammers and you want a true, almost the same size, this half-ounce jackhammer, and that is, no wait, that is a knockoff. No, that's a jackhammer. Yeah, that's a jackhammer, half-ounce. And this 18-gram AliExpress knockoff are almost the same size hook. Now, this definitely is not going to be your quality of hook, but as far as does it still do the job, look at the bends are almost the exact same. Like, so yeah, it should. I don't know if you could tell. They seem very, very much almost identical. That half-ounce and that 18-gram bait are very close as far as hook size, head size. Come on. Very close. If I was wanting a copy of a half-ounce jackhammer, I would get an 18-gram AliExpress knockoff, and you're very close. So should I keep? I don't know. I may keep this. I'm gonna throw it with the jackhammers though, because if I keep it, I'll keep it off with the jackhammers. The 3/8. Let's compare the 3/8. I think it's the exact same. The head should look a little different, a little smaller. But I think the hook size stays the same. So we got our jackhammers. Where? That's another jackhammer, half-ounce. I think that's the first jackhammer I ever bought. And they still work. It still thumps. So you guys remember in the shootout? Look how chewed up. See that head? That's from that thing. And I think that's the whole key to a good chatterbait. Is that blade not only wiggling, but it's bouncing. It hits that head. I know you want a fast startup, but for what they do, the Z-Man Original, the jackhammers, and any bait that still does that as a chatterbait, that's what I like. That just little off the head type deal. So I'm not sure if these baits do it, because I was kind of pushing the customs there for a while, which I still like the idea, and they do start up pretty quick. But I'm going away from those. I'm going to the, hopefully I can keep getting them, and you guys won't see them there in another box, but the Flashback Minnow, little bitty chatterbaits, the micro chatterbaits, and then I'm going to eventually try to get to all of these knockoffs. And I need to just make sure I buy enough, I guess, for a lifetime supply of these little $3.50 ones, because and let me explain my reasoning here. There's a couple reasons, because I can cut these right off and put different colors on these. I've only got $3.50 invested in each one. Here's the issue. Well, I've said all along that with the jackhammers, not only just in how much they cost, because you can do that. You could just cut the skirt off a jackhammer. I could just cut that off, put a different skirt on it. But here's the thing with the jackhammer. I have to invest $15 in this bait. So let's say I want three, a couple green or black-headed ones. I want a couple white-headed ones and a couple whatever. But say I'm like, okay, well, I probably want a few in a 3/8 ounce, something, in each color, maybe one or two in each color, and in a 3/8 and in a half-ounce or whatever. So just in the jackhammers I own, which is only 4 at the moment, I think I've had 5 or 6. I think I have lost a couple. So I go buy 4 jackhammers to get my process started, right? Well, I've got $60 Right there. I've got $60 invested in 4 baits. I can go get these, or the Z-Man Originals is what I was pushing there for a while, which I still like. Just, make sure I got the right rod, which is fine. 15-pound braid is what I recommend, or you go 20 to a 15-pound leader. I don't recommend going 20-pound leader, but if you want to make sure you're in tournaments, 20, 25, whatever floats your boat or your bait, use it. But I can go buy 1, 2, 3, 4, let's just say 5. I can buy 5 of these baits for $17. So I've already got one more bait than I have here for just over the price of one of these. Right? So I can get different skirts, cut them, do whatever I want. I can have more baits cheaper. And back in the day, what I like to do is I like to just have some black-headed ones, white-headed ones, chartreuse-headed ones, and I would switch the skirts around just to, find out which, just to make my own bait up color-wise. Let's set these out. So I'm going to throw, that's why I'm going to try to just, I probably just need to, once I get all these things separated, sorted out, down to Charles, sell Charles whatever, if he wants to buy them all in the whole lot, then I'm going to start replenishing probably my chatterbaits to almost fill that box back up, but with a little bit smaller. I can still throw this, no problem. That hook will not straighten out with 15-pound test. So 15-pound good hook sets. I can still throw this on my 13 fishing, but what it'll also let me do is take all my chatterbait game and throw on the medium light rods. I have no problem. You've already seen me out there. The Carza 2 6'3" light. The Teton I've always been able to 661 Teton. I even caught a few fish, I think, already on the streamer light with that size hook. It's a little stout. I don't really recommend it. I'll probably try to stay away from that. But the Carza 2 light, the 661 Teton, if you guys have anything you feel is comparable to that, and definitely the medium light rods is probably where I will start really focusing on either the quick, which I have, and I might get another Carza 2, the tip, try to work a deal if you guys know about that. And kind of change up my chatterbait game a little bit, kind of get away from that big 15-pound test. And yes, they pull in big fish, but you go out there and get on chatterbait bite, and every bass is 2 pounds or less for like the majority of the day, and then you might hook a 5-pounder, right? Or 6, 8, wherever, it depends on your area. But so to be catching all those fish, you're up till you finally get into a big one, you're going to have a lot more fun, and just a fight of the fish on the smallest rod possible, right? So that's kind of where I'm going with my chatterbait stuff. Not that the fact that these haven't been awesome baits, and some of these baits are like still new. I haven't even used yet. See that black and blue though? A lot of these, they come black and blue like that. I don't like that skirt. And technically, since I still have that awesome 13 fishing rod, I can keep some of these, but you guys are watching me, and you guys are witnessing me in my head try to talk myself in or out of these. Oh, and while we're talking about these, see how this fell off? Let's talk about this bait right here. This bait right here so far has been a letdown. These also came from AliExpress. I cut that off, changed colors. I haven't done it yet. I think these are small enough that just for whatever reason, a small chatterbait with the skirt sucks. So I think I want to just ship these out of here. I don't really like these. But I think before I let them go, I'm going to throw them with the micros. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take skirts off. I've actually cut that skirt down to make it. That should have worked. I used it briefly, but it should have already caught a fish. I've yet to catch a fish on these little baits. I've got a couple of them. But I think I'm going to swim bait them. I'm going to put a swim bait on them, no skirt, and try them before I give up. But I'm about ready to give up on these, right? Say something. I'm giving up on you. Come on, Adele. Let's go. And I think I'm getting rid of all these too. Don't want to save any of these skirts. Man, there's a lot of money here. These were all $5 or $8 baits. I've got my $15 baits out, but these are still $5 to $8 baits, and I think I'm just going to get it out of here. But before I do that, I'm going to show you the baits that I am definitely keeping and definitely will be throwing on the 13 fishing rod. 13 fishing rod may become a rapture rod just for these raptures. I wish they made these with a little bit smaller hook. But the Omega Custom Tackle, they just have a little action to them. Now Charles says, and I need to probably figure out where to find the Cast King. Cast King, I know they don't make them, but they put their name on some kind of chatterbait that Charles just loves. If you guys haven't watched that little clinic video, go back and watch it. I watch him catch fish on the black and blue one. He definitely can catch some fish with it, but I'm still not sold on it, but I may try it if I can get my hands on it. There's that other little bait. So, I'm trying to talk myself. Should I get rid of all of these that have been so good to me over the years? The original Z-Mans. Oh boy. I'm definitely, if I can get all these Omega Custom Tackles out, I'm keeping them because they're just, like I said, they got their own deal. Now I did go the other day, I added this color. I'm trying to find, and I think I can get on there and order this exact skirt material. So I'm trying to just make another one of those. You can't get the shell cracker color. You can still go to Omega Custom Tackles website or maybe places that sell them, and you can still get the Rapture jig in a lot of different colors. And I believe this is 3/8 is what I've been buying, which feel more to me like half-ounce baits. And I think they make like a 5/8, 3/8 and 5/8, not half-ounce. But awesome baits that I will be keeping for sure. And I will have to just remind myself when I grab one of these to throw it on the bigger rod. I'm not saying I can't catch a fish on like a medium light, but I definitely don't want to throw that on any light rod. I can still catch them. Sometimes they hook themselves, but odds are I will miss that fish because my drag's toothless, right? Okay, so we're keeping those. I'm gonna set the Omega Custom Tackles. Oh boy, over there. I'm trying to get to a point where I see how many baits I'm getting ready to ship out here. That's a custom, I believe, and that's a short shank custom. I honestly don't know if I like that shank they being that short. See these knockoffs? See how much they kind of go back? It's a little bit smaller diameter and... Uh-oh, I just mixed them up. Get back over there where you belong. But yeah, I'm really liking these baits right here. So that bait I think is brand new. I don't think I've ever fished that. It's going bye-bye. That is like my favorite. That used to be all I threw, and they switched up the colors on me. If you guys know anything about the old original one, I got ones here somewhere. And places will do that to you. Companies. It's not a big, huge change, but can you guys see the difference? See how much brighter of a true, like almost yellow that is, and then they kind of went to this fleck, little sparkly, different color. But that's the Bayou Craw, Cajun Craw, Bayou Craw, I think. And I like the originals better. So they switched over the years on me there. I think they've changed up their black and blue. There's an Omega Custom Tackle black and blue. Now I think I put that on. Yeah, that's not one of their skirts. But I am going to keep those. Oh man. I'm getting ready to do this. I'm keeping this. I need to get these back in there. And it's a good idea. Any of the Elastec stuff or anything that's salt impregnated, put it back after you're done fishing. I hardly ever do. Practice what you preach, right? Get them out of there. Yeah, they're getting funky looking. Let me see here. There's another one. I can't remember this original color. I put a different chartreuse and white skirt on it. So I think I have 4 jackhammers and 4 Omega Custom Tackle, the Rapture. And I think I'll keep those. So I'll keep those 8 baits, all the real little ones for now. But then I think I'm going to get rid of, we're going to count them just so we'll know how many regular chatterbaits I'm getting ready to get rid of here. Now I do keep, like if the hook, something happens, I will keep blades to have on standby. And while I'm thinking about that, I'm just going to talk about that. Here's a gold one. Nobody talks about it anymore. Like, there's just so many chatterbaits, I guess you could just find a chatterbait that runs the way you like it to run. But back when these chatterbaits, I've talked about how awesome they were at the beginning. We used to tune chatterbaits, and nobody talks about it anymore. But the first few years of chatterbaits, it was big talk on how, if you wanted that straight, bend it a little, or bend it further. You guys understand, and you know what I'm talking about, or why we would do that? Well, there's kind of a couple reasons. The more you bend that top back, it does a couple things. Well, it's doing one thing that results in a couple things happening. The minute you start bending that back, you're reducing the resistance this blade has, right? Like technically if you tried to run this blade like this, if it would run, it would even create more, a cone deal going through the water like this, as opposed to going through, cupped. But what you could do is if you wanted the bait basically to do 2 things different. If you wanted less chatter, more subtle, you could bend it in. But that really isn't what we were doing. What we were doing when we were tuning a chatterbait, basically, you would bend that back so you could go at the same speed, but it would go lower because it would have less resistance, which would let it get lower into the water column. And you can still do that today. There's nothing, anything that is a chatterbait, if it's got a blade like this on it, whether it's got holes in it or not or whatever, perfectly straight will be about the most resistance, should make the most chatter, and technically it's going to ride a little higher up at whatever speed you're going. So if you're going as slow as you possibly can and you still want that blade turning, a lot of times you could bend that lip down and as long as it would still turn, but if you're going slow it would let it go lower. Or say if you just wanted this, it seemed this speed is what they wanted, but you felt like it needed to be lower, you could bend that in, still go at that speed, and it would get a little lower, if that makes sense. But it's a thing that is, I haven't heard it talked about in I don't know how many years. I haven't heard anybody like I've talked to on forums, I haven't seen it in any videos or none of that stuff. I honestly don't even do it just because I feel I know what speed to reel my bait at, and I typically go slow, but if you wanted to say go real fast, like you felt you just wanted to, you could do more of a speed cranking the more you bent that in, and it still kind of stay down, I guess. But anyway, just thought I'd mention that. I don't know why nobody does it, talks about it anymore. I guess just there's so many baits now, right? Like, I don't even fish chatterbait, Charlie. I'm fishing all this other stuff. Yeah, well, I fish chatterbaits. I got way too many chatterbaits. How many do I have here? Let's just get a count going. So I'm going to count them before I definitely say I'm weeding them out. So we've already got, let's just start with what we started with. We got 1, 2, let me go over here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Get out of there. 11, 12. Wow. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Wow, that's a lot of money right there. 18, 19, 21 chatterbaits. Just say it $5 a piece. How much is that? 200 bucks? 205 bucks. Some of those are $8 baits. You guys, any of those that you saw with the not shiny big hooks? So yeah, a bunch of money right there. So somebody's like, just keep them and use them and fish them. Well, I don't know. I think if I do sell, I don't think I could sell these to Charles for $1 a piece. I'd say half price, $2 a piece. That's still very cheap, isn't it? $2 a pop. That's only $42. I'm gonna have to think on that. So we've sorted them out though. These, I'm not sure. I think these are going bye-bye, but I'm not sure how I'm gonna sell them. So all those, all the Z-Man original chatterbaits. I should have separated out how much money. This is an awesome bait right here. That is a bed fishing machine. For whatever reason, that white color on the murkier water, and I imagine this exact same bait in clear water, maybe a touch different color. Man, that little flappity, that's a Bass Pro Shops one. That one's all like deformed. That's a little bed fishing. I think even probably more so than these. Just it does, I don't know what it does. The bass go crazy over that. So yeah, back to this. Get these out of the way for now. So I'm going to go back with the however many of these I bought, the 4 and 4, and then the little micros, and restart my chatterbait game. Gone away from Z-Man Originals and Customs. Who would have ever thunk it? Well, probably the people that start putting out these $3.50 baits that are very good. And I did go through and glued these to where these won't come off, but honestly some of these I'm going to be ordering and I'm going to be putting different colors on, and I may still do that, go back and pick off some of these skirts, especially if I just decide to sell them to Charles. We come up with a deal for $1 or $2 a piece. I may keep some of those color skirts I like to put on these knockoffs I'm getting, because I'll be honest, that's the one downside to the knockoff baits. There's only so many colors. The options on colors aren't limited or aren't limitless. There's only 6 or 8 colors, and there's only, I think the only blackhead you can get is their black and blue, which not a huge deal. I'll just probably get a bunch of these and save a few of my old school, like the Bayou Craw is a good color. It just comes with the black head. Now the trick is, if I want to get some with gold blades and black heads, I guess I could just paint the heads black. But the main reasoning is to go with, I like that size, style hook. I do like that. It's kind of really, I mean, it's a knockoff in a way, but then it's not. They did switch up. They got a smaller hook. But I don't know if there's a patent that they've jacked up that they aren't supposed to be making these. I have no idea as when you get into that part of it. So yeah, I'm going to end this video because I still got, as you can tell, I got a lot of stuff to do to get these back in there and then figure out what's going on here with these. And I got to get all this done today, sorted, well, sort most of the boxes. What I needed to do is try to get that rod glued up. I was hoping this morning to actually glue up the handles. You guys have seen me working on that if you follow the channel. I was hoping to glue them up so they'd have almost 24 hours to dry. I was going to take them out fishing with me tomorrow. That is probably a dream. It's not going to happen, but they'll be ready for next weekend when I plan on hitting it hard both Saturday and Sunday. Next weekend so far is looking like low 80s. That'll be awesome fishing morning. Should be decent enough I can get out and get some top water and then put together other videos. So anyway, stay tuned for the chatterbait saga. It continues, right? Technically, I have enough chatterbaits to last me, even with just what I bought here and those, probably the rest of the season. But you know me, once I do get these sold, if I can sell them for $2 a piece and only $1.50 more to each one of these, I'd probably buy another 5 or 10 of these. just to make sure, right? Maybe not. You definitely need a black and blue. You need a white chatterbait. You need a chartreuse and white, and then you need just something that is like this or like this, just kind of a bluegilly type thing, right? Even though we're trying to imitate crawdads. And what I recommend is I like this color here, the black and blue are probably my two favorite chatterbaits now. Chartreuse and white anytime you're in muddy or dirty or nastier water. Not a huge bunch of colors in the spec. Hopefully you guys, if you follow the channel, you guys kind of seen the colors I kind of like for my skirts, for my hard baits, and for all that kind of stuff. I'm not a huge fan of chartreuse heads. I feel maybe with the chartreuse and white, but like white, green, and then black heads. It's about only if you just pick out the color head you need. Like, but that head's fine. White, and chartreuse. You could actually use that with just an all white skirt, even with that touch of chartreuse on top. Got a little red up there, but I like that color. Or like this color, just an all white head, all black head, and then just one of those kind of goldish, coppery, greenish, whatever head, right? And then just switch out skirts to whatever and trailers to whatever color, you know, presentation if you're looking for something to maybe a little more darty, less flappity. These have worked so far, but this honestly, to date, even maybe a little more so, the original Reaction Innovations, the Smalley Beaver, not the Sweet Beaver. I feel it's too big. The Smalley Beaver or this, I can't remember what the Riots call this. The Riot Baits. This is their smaller version of theirs. I like those. Got a little subtle flappity to it. But I think I like the way these. I think these hold on a little better than the Reaction Innovations, the Smalley Beavers. But you can't beat the Smalley Beaver. You put a Smalley Beaver on here. Let me just see if I can find one real quick. Let's make this video forever. Here we go. Got two colors thrown together. Reaction Innovations Smalley Beaver. I can't remember, 250 or something. These right here, and I think it's just because of the commotion they create, even though they're subtle. That's a very good color right there. Plus they have awesome colors. But the Reaction Innovation Smalley Beavers, see how that, well, if it would focus. See how those ribs go against the grain basically. So when you're pulling it through the water, that ribbing is backwards. So when you have a smooth bait, even though that's got a little rib, it's kind of smooth. Like water does not flow across these that well. So it's disrupting. That's why sometimes this just fished on a little wobble head or the actual, this is a Smalley, but the original Sweet Beaver can't be beat, in my opinion, to put on you can even fish them on a shaky head like this one, but like the bobblehead, or you rig them up Texas style, flipping, punching, whatever. But just when it's going in, it creates a disturbance without making all this crazy movement, but it's disrupting, displacing the water, and it just gets down there and it looks real subtle, right? It's awesome bait. Here's the downside to this bait. This bait isn't far from the oh, I can't even think of the name of it now. What am I thinking of? Hang on, I got those two. Not far from Key Tech on their swim baits and somewhat on these. Now, these are awesome baits too. But durability. You guys know me, I'm a Z-man, dude. I know this is a chatterbait video, but we're talking soft plastics. The Elastec stuff and how long it lasts and how well it is, these are the polar opposite of that. These are awesome baits, and I know you're like, well, it's about catching fish, Charlie, just spend the money. Well, here's the issue with that. Not on top of even spending the money. you almost have to start figuring out, well, okay, I'm going to lose this many. But if I get on a bite, I'm going to lose this many. I need this many packages because these things just don't last. And then I'm going to need this, and I'm going to need that. So I'm going to have to store these here. And I can't just carry one pack of these because I may go through the whole pack. If I get on a good bite, I may go through that whole pack. So I need at least 2 packs of this color. What if that color's working? I'm going to need a couple packs of that color. Oh my God, didn't it? Next thing you know, you have way too much stuff when you're dealing with soft plastics that just do not stay on the hook. Keitex, awesome fish catching machine, but unless you're sponsored and got a big ass boat and can carry a lot of stuff, I've kind of weeded myself out from trying these. Sweet beavers, smallie beavers, awesome baits that catch you fish, but I've literally went through 2 packs in one day, got on a good bite, and I told myself then, I think these are 5. I don't know what they are now. I haven't bought a pack of these in probably 4 or 5 years, just because I don't even use them. I occasionally use one here and there, but back when I was using them regularly, I would literally, a color would just start working, and I'd go through like probably 2 packs, sometimes in a day, but like in a weekend for sure. I'd go through maybe a couple packs when I was using them just by themselves. They last a little longer on the backs of these, like I got this one. But what I found is this bait right here also works. The riot baits, and they did last longer. They just stay on a little longer, and I don't feel I really was losing any bites when they're on chatterbaits. Now, I never really tried these just by themselves. But, so just throwing that out there, like those baits, I got tired of trying to worry about if they were in stock, having enough, you know, what colors, and that kind of stuff, to where I feel, if you guys, you'll see probably later on today when I start pulling out my Z-Man stuff, same thing goes with worms and all that. When you're dealing with this Z-Man Elastec, this isn't a Z-Man bait, but it's Elastec. When you're dealing with these baits, that one bait can catch you 20 to 40 to 60 fish before you need to switch, and they get bit. When you find baits that get bit, it's hard to get away from those. So far, this bait seems like it's working pretty good. I don't know how long it's going to work if it starts deforming too quick, but out of the baits I've used, Z-Man Elastec, you know, you've seen me with the worms, the bugs, the zinkers, and a few others I can't think of off the top of my head. They just last a long time, and I've been trying to find a replacement, kind of like I have for the Dig It Right crankbait, for a trailer that imitates crawdads on my chatterbaits. And the riot baits, and I like their colors too, I like this black and blue color, are very good. And this bait is almost too big. Cut down though, and so far it's been working. You guys have seen those couple different chatterbait videos I've had out. Once this chatterbait bite started kicking in, the water's warmed up. These seem to be doing the trick also. And you get 3 of them for, is it $4 or something? But they last forever. You get like 8 or 9 of these for like $5 or $6, but you will go through them. So these may work, they may not. I do not like the palmetto bug. The Z-Man bug thing, I do not like. I wish, where's one at? Oh my gosh, I don't have one out here. I don't have one. But if you guys have seen the bugs, which is basically a small copied version of the smallie beaver, Z-Man just needs to make one of those in this size and call it a day. Actually they need to make the regular size ones too. Instead of that palmetto bugs, I've fished it and I just feel it just does not get bit like the like probably this bait would, or like the for sure like the sweet beaver does when it's on its own on a, just fishing it like on, punching, flipping, pitching into stuff where you don't want an actual skirted jig, you just want that little craw imitation, right? So anyway, I know I went off on a little rampage there talking about these soft plastics, but finding one that work and last, that's kind of a deal for me. Just in the space in the boat, as I'm trying to weed out some of these here. And I haven't found a good Elastec type swim bait either, like the Keitex on their swing impact fat. Now I found some of these knockoffs that, everybody and their brother copies the key text, right, on the swim baits, even from the Googans to the Strike King and all of them. And there's a lot of good baits there too. And I found, luckily, swim baits seem to last just a little. I can usually catch more fish on a swim bait before it falls off than I was with like the key text swim baits suck. They are horrible. But most of these other knockoffs aren't that bad. But for some reason, I have yet to find a good Elastec swim bait that really works good. These work on the backs of chatterbaits and stuff. But as far as trying to swim them by themselves, like what you want a true paddle tail swim bait, I've yet to find a good Elastec Z-Man or a copy of one. Some of these diesel minnows, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of those yet. Probably need to dive into that deeper. All right, definitely getting out of here now. 15 minutes talking about just nothing, probably. Stay tuned, guys. More videos coming. Let me read what Jay's been talking about. Yeah, Jay's like me. He says, key techs are so fragile, I just don't use them. Jay says he likes the Skeet Reese Pit Boss. I'll be honest, I have no idea. I've never seen that one as a chatterbait trailer. And there's a lot I haven't seen. I find something to work. I'm going to relate this real quick to me going out and eat to a restaurant. I find something that typically works and it suffices, like it's not saying settle, but gets the job done, and I'm happy with it. I won't even look at baits that are, so just like the Zinkers. Bottom contact, the minute as a backup bait, the minute something moving bait, search bait's not working, I throw that Zinkers in. For the last 2 years now, the shaky head with the Zinkers, not a worms or nothing, has just got the job done. I haven't even been paying attention to any other baits. Before that, it was just the worms, the true shaky head, the worms from Z-Man. Just got the job done. And back in the day, I was I was tracking down the ones, and I was doing the smally beavers and the sweet beavers and all that. And then once I realized just how many packs I was going through and how much of a hassle it was, it got me off onto going with some. And then I found these, and I'm like, oh, they get the job done. And they'd worked. But then I've always had in the back of my head, well, I'm going to be keeping an eye out for these, and then these come out. So I haven't really been, soft plastics, you won't see me doing a lot of research on, just because once I find something that's doing the job, I won't check into a lot of other stuff. Jay said he hadn't heard about the chatterbait tuning. Yeah, way back when, that's all you would hear talk about. You talked about your blades on a, the propeller on your buzz baits, the blade on, just like you would on a spinner bait, which willow to use, how long, how short, chatterbaits, how to bend the thing. And a lot of guys were, like now you see Z-Man has a little bitty blade, the big blade, this and that they call it, but there were guys, I think there's even companies making different blades, and there was just all kinds of stuff going on with the original chatterbait first few years, because it was such an awesome, it just worked just the way it was. You didn't need to do anything, but how we'd get into fine tuning. You can almost fine tune any kind of bait to do stuff, just like you would add suspend dots to some of these floating baits and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, I'm gonna get out of here. What was I talking about? Oh, Jay's talking about that. The pit there. I need to probably sit down one day. I don't know when I'll do it. I've been trying to track down what they're calling Elastec on AliExpress, TRP or TPR or something, and try to look at all the baits that they have there. Maybe get some of those ordered to find some long-lasting soft plastic baits that fill any gaps I have. But honestly, I don't really have any gaps. I just need to get some of the stuff I already know that works and get to it. But these were a good alternative from Bass Pro Shops, and I will use these on trailers also. And I want to say they're a little bit cheaper than the Riots, and they I don't know, they really do about the same thing. It's kind of a matter of just personal preference. But I do have several packs of these, and these still left, and still the Smalley Beavers. And I know somebody's going to go, well, you could just super glue those on. I know. That's probably what I should just do. I should probably just go back to my original Smalley Beavers, and when I put one on, just, pull it back, put some super glue, push it on, and it probably lasts a lot friggin' longer. And it's like it's not a, you know, huge end of the world thing. I'm just saying like what's always in the back of my head, trying to track down the stuff that less clutter, like I'm trying to do today, less clutter in your boat, less money out of your wallet kind of deal, right? So that's what we're doing to eventually weed out of these, go to just the, you know, get the feel and the hang of, first of all, you know, how hard do you need to set the hook, you know, that kind of stuff, and just try to eventually work my way into one bait. I'd like to eventually work my way out of these, but until I figure out a way to either make these hunt like the Raptures do, or I guess I could probably, you know what, this is going to be an hour-long video. Sorry, guys. Here's what I could do. No offense to Omega Custom Tackle or the Rapture Jig, but I could probably take that ball bearing swivel and put it on a few of these to give myself that smaller hook, and hopefully the action these have. Because I've talked about it before, and I'm not trying to give away Omega Custom Tackle secrets, because I do recommend you guys go there. Omega Custom Tackle, especially you guys still fishing with the jackhammers or the originals, and you know, you got big stout rods. Because the odds of, once you do get into big fish, you know, you catch a 10-pound bass, I'd probably rather have it on this hook than this hook. I ain't gonna lie. So if you're fishing down big water, you know, big fish territory, this bait's perfectly fine. And go to Omega Custom Tackle, track down some of their skirts, and they make awesome jigs. Everything they make, Omega Custom Tackle is a legit place to go get a lot of baits, awesome baits. But for me, trying to get to that smaller hooks, trying to get the ultimate chatterbait stuff on BFS gear, I think I could take that off right there, either cut, or sometimes you can bend that, but usually you're making it more fragile. Basically cut that off, do the split ring. You'd have to make like a dedicated, I'm just going to change to this style. And you could add, because all you really need, if you look at this bait, I'm just trying to look, like technically I could take this off since I have 4 of them. I could take the other 3, and I may do that with one, because all I got to do is take the split ring off, cut one of these off, which is only $3.50, not a big loss, and then use that split ring right into that, and then just fish it and see what it fishes like. Does it have that hunting? Because these have a, when you start changing, they do a little more of a wiggle, not a true hunting, but more of a wiggle than any other chatterbait I've seen. And I think it's because they have a ball bearing swivel, and I may be nuts, but they add that little ball, and they do that for a reason. I don't know for sure the reason, but, and it could also be that head is pointed, and as long as you run, you know, keep it a slim profile, what may have to do with it. But I may do that to test. I may not this color. I'll probably use a different color. What was that? Oh, and after I end this video, I'm gonna have to go put my phone on the charger. That's what that sound was. 15% left. So I may do a different color one, but I may do that just to test. I may take, not this one. I'm leaving that baby just the way it is. Probably I'll do it on this one. This is a perfect one. I'm gonna do that. You guys be looking forward to that. I'm going to take one of these, probably just an all-white one, and I'm going to put it on there, plus we'll be able to see it. And I'm going to try to get out in water where you guys can watch it. So I'm going to take these 2. I'm going to leave the white one, this one alone, but I've already decided. I'm just talking myself into this as I go, right? On the fly. I'm going to take this bait, and I'm going to rig this on it, and we're going to see, and I'll compare them when we get down to Paradise, one of the Paradise places, or that test pit I go to. And I'm going to just switch that out onto one of our cheap ones and see. Because you could easily make this. All you need, and we'll see if it's the blade or not. Because then what I'll probably do is I'll maybe put a regular blade on. Because is it anything to do with that blade? If you guys notice, this blade is almost perfectly straight. These knockoffs and your Z-Mans narrows up more and then is got a little bend in it. These are pretty much just a flat plate of steel, shaped a little bit different. Omega Custom Tackle. But I think it's right here in this ball bearing swivel and the split rings. Lets it do its little thing. But there's times when that isn't getting hit. It's like a chatterbait bites on, I don't throw these. I feel something's a little iffy with the chatterbaits, I do two things. I throw these and I throw go right to a spinner bait, and then usually it's game on one or the other. There's just times when this bait, earlier this year I actually did it. I took that one out, and the only big half-ounce chatterbait bite, basically full-size chatterbait bite I could get on was with the Omega Custom Tackle Rapture jig. But I think it's in here. And now we'll find out. It could be in the head. That and the head. Could, you know, they've maybe done the testing, found out these round heads just don't work as well as this pointed ones for that action they're looking for. But stay tuned for that video, and I'm out, guys. Less than an hour. Awesome. That's what we're going to do. Be looking forward to that. I ain't going to do it today, but I may do it tonight. I may actually, no, I won't even be messing with it tonight or tomorrow, because tomorrow where I'm going fishing, I don't think I'm going to be in clear enough water we'll be able to tell. I'll have it ready by next weekend, and you'll probably see me and Charles, and we'll show it at least and see if it did it do anything, or they look exactly the same, or it will not hunt at all. Because I'll throw it, well, I know I'm getting out here before an hour's up. I'll throw those two together with this on there, but then I'll also throw a regular Omega Custom Tackle, and we'll just see what the three do, right? That's the best way to do the testing. Yep. Talked myself into it. Already got another video. 6-inch zinker. I don't even know what size the zinkers are. Are they 5-inch or 6-inch? I don't know. Let me find one that's not destroyed. No, zinkers are 5-inch. I don't think they make them in 6, as far as I know. This is a color that's going bye-bye too. I've caught fish on that color, but I'll be honest. If there was a color in the zinkers that I would never buy again, and I'm going to throw this package in out, is this color right here. Green pumpkin orange. That orange color will catch fish, but man, it is my least favorite color for almost anything except maybe a jig, skirt material. But on soft plastic, I'm not going to do it. But that is a 5-inch 6-pack. So I believe all zinkers are 5-inch. They make like a hula stick something or another. But the zinkers is like made out of a different, it's got so much salt and weight when it starts out that it does sink. You know, Elastec floats. It's made out of Elastec, but it's one of the nastiest, wettest baits you will see, the zinkers. And if you guys watch that video, me and Charles, the plus to the zinkers above that they last forever is as they do wear down, they get lighter, they get more air in them, so they float more. And I was actually able to pull them apart and let air in. They would literally float with the 16th ounce, you know, look like a bobber floating up and down. But then if you held them underwater or just after a few fish catches, you know, the stretching underwater, they would fill with water basically. They would get less buoyant. So you can almost fine tune a zinkers with just a small weight or weightless basically with just a hook. And kind of get it a suspended type deal and use it, because I use it a lot as like a soft jerk bait, right? I'll just have it out there at the 16th ounce, especially when they get old, and it's just kind of hovering, you know, within a, say, almost surface to say a few feet. You can just sit and work it around edges of stuff, and it's insane, like some bites you can get on. Not with that color though. So anyway, let me wrap that up. Let's get out of here. We're done. Oh boy, I gotta go. Gotta go right now. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned. The next video will not be an hour long, talking about chatterbaits and everything else under the sun, right? I know I get on rants sometimes. Thanks for watching.